Alright, so I've got a 6S that came in. It keeps kicking itself over to the recovery logo. When you try to restore, it's giving an error 9 or error 6. There's a couple things that this could be on the 6S series. Supposedly, baseband can cause issues with restores, causing an error 9 on these. But the thing that we've also seen in the past is the Tristar chip can cause error 9. So I figured I would go ahead and try to replace Tristar without doing anything to the baseband. Baseband PMIC is back here, so I'm also going to check for shorts just to make sure. But I'm going to see if I can sneak that out from under the shielding. If not, I'll go in and cut that out. But let's see what happens. I'm hoping I can get it out without having to pull the shielding. So I'm going to move my antenna out of the way because it's going to get pretty warm over here. No need in melting them for no reason. We'll add some flux. Trying to think how it's going to be easiest. Probably come in from this angle. Probably need to add some flux from this side. There we go. Just want to keep our air focused as closely as we can to the shoot on the Tristar. Alright. Snuck it out of there. We tapped a cap, but I don't think we did anything to it. No, we just got a little extra solder on one of those caps. We can clean that up though. So that came out fairly easy. The hardest part here is going to be cleaning up underneath the shielding without cutting it out. So I'm going to hold it at an angle so I can kind of see up under there. Try to clean this off as much as I can. Very difficult getting all the way up under there. I may have to cut that shield. I'm worried about leaving too much solder on there, causing too much of an issue in the back. And they're not, the pads aren't super high. Let me see if I can just bend the plate up just a little bit, just to give me some room. There we go. It's hard to see for you all, but I bent the plate up. You can see where it's just bent up a little bit. Now I can get all the way into the back corner with my hot tweezers. Alright, that's all cleaned. Clean that cap back up that I touched. Alright, we should be okay. So we'll clean that with some acetone and then shove a Tristar up under there. I suspect it should take fairly easily. I got my daily medicine for my iPhones here. We've got a Need a 1610 A3 for this. So place one out there. Alright. Should be facing this way. Put a little bit of flux down. Then we'll want to set our chip in. Alright. Fairly confident right about there. Then I'm going to try to hold that in place until we get our flux kind of melted here. Alright, it didn't look like it's going to move much anyway, so go ahead and heat that up. Okay, it started to move. Alright. Get a little bit of spring back there after we touched it. Look at the chip here. Turn off the brightness a little bit. Just heads up, that board's hot. I always burn myself. So you can see down in there that the, let's get it in focus, the chip's fairly flat there. Looks pretty level. Solder is definitely melted. I can see where it's kind of pancaked out underneath the chip. We'll bend that metal back down a little bit. I'm going to rerun my cables, and then we'll hope and close our eyes and pray that this has worked. I suspect that it probably hasn't helped, but every now and then I've had one or two that were actually Tristar causing boot looping issues, and then subsequential error 9 restore issues because they deal with the data line communications between CPU and USB. So there's always a possibility, but I don't get my hopes up on these. Error 9 in most cases usually is something to do with NAND, and it becomes a nightmare. I don't have anything for the 6S to do NANDs on them yet, but all my 6 experiences with NANDs usually end up being just every now and then you'll get one that restores and works, and then I'll get a string of them that they won't work. They just, nothing on them wants to work correctly. Like the one we worked on just recently, actually. Like everything is perfect on that one. It should be restoring, but it still won't restore. So chances are it's something to do with the EEPROM or the CPU, and if that's the case, it's not. It's possible to fix it. There's some crazy videos out there where they drill into the CPU and go through the SD-RAM chip where there's only ground plane and connect to these traces onto these vias that are built into the CPU substrate. But I don't know. I guess it would be worth a try on a device that there's no really option left, but I feel like once you go that route, you're kind of dooming the device if there is just something stupid wrong with it. We've had some devices that just wouldn't work at all, and they acted weird, and something happened, and all of a sudden they started working again. So we've also got a iPad 4, I believe, that's here. That's giving some charging issues. So, well, the phone is still seen by the computer, so we know our Tristar is good. it's asking me to restore it, so we'll go ahead and do a restore and update on it. We'll wait a second and see what happens. Kind of our close day today. It's nice and rainy outside. So kick back and relax. Wait for the restore. It's almost done extracting. You'll hear it when it chimes. I've got the speakers turned up. Apple logo's up. Loading bar's up. Not confident in it. It's still sitting there. Just waiting for iPhone. Yeah, it shut off Air 9 again. I'll try DFU restore. But good chance it's going to do the same thing. Alright, it's in DFU recovery mode now. Restore and update. I don't even have chat pulled up. Let's pull chat up here. Alright, so now I can see chat so everybody's not fucking in the dark. How's everybody doing? I can try. I've kind of got my webcam on my fucking laptop is what I use most of the time, so. I don't know why it's saying that. It's saying on YouTube that the stream's not good, but it looks okay on my end. Is it okay on yours? I changed the description on here. Alright, so we're back up to the Apple logo. Sitting on the screen. Apple or iTunes just says waiting for iPhone. Yeah, it shut off again. I'm not sure what's causing this. All the iPhone 6s I've seen that give error dot are just, I mean, since there's not much on the NAND programming yet, I know there's a few machines out there, but I think they all require new chips. I don't think you can use the existing chip. So I don't know. Don't know. Alright, so I'm going to set that one off to the side. We have an iPad here also. I believe it's an iPad 4. Either that or 3. One or the other. When you plug it into the charger, it will show the charging logo briefly. The amperage will kick up, and then as soon as the charging logo shows, it dies to 0. Got something in my eye. I think I got it. There's a bug flying around. It probably was that bug. Right in my eyeball. And it's still in there. We'll go blind. I don't like when I get shit in my eyes. I've got contacts and really bad allergies, so when I fuck with my eyes, they swell up. Yeah, need to kill it with fire. Let's see if I flush my eyeball out here. Well, I don't see anything, so hopefully it came out, whatever it was. Alright, anyway. So when I put this iPad up to the charger, when I first plug it in, I get a 1.5 amp draw. And then as soon as the iPad starts to try to turn the screen on, it cycles back to 0. Like it's cycling right now. The company that had this said they put a battery in it. The battery voltage is low. It's like 1.3 amp or 1.3 volts. But it still shouldn't be cycling on and off. And the board makes a really odd noise. You can hear it. It's an audible sound when it's cycling. It almost sounds like a coil. I checked for shorts and I didn't see any. This charger that they gave me, or the charge port that they put on here, is worn the fuck out. Like it's showing, now it's just sitting, so the backlight's on and it's showing the charging logo, but now the amperage is falling to like 0.07 before I end up tearing something else up. So I'm thinking possibly Tristar issue. These boards do have a Tristar. It uses the 1608, which is what the iPhone 5 and the iPod Touches use. It's down here at the bottom of the board. The symptoms kind of resemble Tristar problems, but I'm not 100% sure if that's what it is. Like if I unhook the let's see if I can unhook the battery here. But if I unhook the battery and then plug it in, it doesn't seem to act right. I really don't like working on things that other people I've already been doing a lot of dicking with because it adds more variables to it. And I don't think I have, I'll check in the back, but I'm pretty sure I don't have a charging port here for the 4th gen or 3rd gen. Just because we don't see many charging issues with these. Or at least I haven't. Some of you all may have. Disconnect all our little cables here. Pull this board out. I really want to listen to it with the board out, just hooked up to the power supply, or hooked up to the charge port. No, you haven't missed much. Just me failing a few times. Seems like that's most of my streams. We do a lot of work here, and I really don't fail that much, but I sure as fuck love to live stream all the ones I do. Alright, let me go grab, I think I've got an iPad 3 housing in the back. Let me grab it and see if it's still got a battery in it. Alright, so I have one back there but no battery in it. So that didn't do me a whole lot of fucking good. So let's start dicking around with this one and see what we can hear, see what we can feel, see if there's any shorts. It's not acting, I pulled it out and it's acting different now. It's cycling like I would think it would. I really don't, I wish I had a battery to hook up to it. I don't know. I mean, they look the same as all the other fucking batteries, but I don't want to stick it to one and just fuck something up. I don't know how the battery SWI line will react having a random battery hooked to it. Let me see if maybe we can boot this off the DC power supply and see if it'll even boot up so we can eliminate a battery as a possible issue. It's probably not going to like this either because it's not going to see any battery information, but for testing, this is about all I got for it. No woman, no cry. Thinking about getting, I'm probably going to do it. Probably going to get a second camera just to show what I'm working on so you all can see it. Alright, which one of you fuckers is positive? You're positive. How can we attach to you? Can we do that? What about this? Felt like it was touching. It might work. Just shot off like a cannon. Maybe I can hook it in behind the lead here. That didn't work either. It just bent my tip. That's all it did. Well, got some of those battery charge leads. I thought about just fucking strapping it to that and see what happens, but god damn it. Keeps slipping off. As far as your ground goes, any ground area will do as long as it's not touching something else. Fucking bent it again. I don't want to fuck up these leads. I just got them. I got a couple sets, but I still don't want to fuck them up. They need to make a connector that does the battery connector on one side so we can fucking just hook this straight up. Could probably pull it off an iPad board, but I really don't feel like, or iPad battery, but I really don't feel like dicking around with those lipos. Because that can end badly. Let's see here. What the fuck do I have over here? What are you for? You're for iPad 3 and 4. How about that? Let's see if I can rig something up here. So these would be correct. I don't know how I've attached to it though. I'm almost tempted just to solder this fucking thing. Which may be what I end up doing. I'm gonna pull the shielding on these just to see what's under them. Maybe we'll see something obviously wrong when we pull these. Come up, come on. So we could probably solder there. Still be kind of tight. Have to lay the wire along the edge there. Let's keep on looking here. PMIC's on top. I'm pretty sure there's not much down there. Those, I'm pretty sure these, one of these chips, or two of them possibly, have to do with touch. Most annoying fucking shield in the world. Pull this last one. These are NAND. Tristar is right here. Oh, what can we do? What can we do? What can we do? See how much of a pain in the dick it's going to be to try to solder in here. Really don't like soldering in areas like that because there's so much ground shit around it. Where is my solder? Alright. Where are you, wire? There we go. So I've got some enamel coated wire. I don't have my cutter. Let's see, I need to go get some scissors. Mike has got all my stuff at the flea market today with him, so actually he's probably done by now. Alright, let's see if we can Alright, that looks like it'll hold. I'll put a bend in it that way. Actually, I want to keep it kind of low. That's soldered on there. I'm going to go ahead and clean one end so I can attach my leads to it. Alright, rigging it up part 2. Let's grab this end. We'll ground it out down here. See what happens. Alright, so it's acting normal right now. No odd draw or anything. See what it does when we hook up the charge port, see if it'll boot. Alright, it's showing an amp draw. Yeah, it looks like it's booting up. It's pulling 200 milliamps. It's bouncing around between, okay, now it's up to 500, 600 milliamps. So it's definitely booting. Let's see if the computer will see it. Alright, so the computer sees it. Yeah, it sees the iPad. It's recognized the iPad. It's giving me the name of it. Alright, so we know it's booting. So is this a battery issue or is this a charging issue? Let me go see here. Let's see if I've got an iPad battery that I can kind of just rig up to work. Alright, so this is an iPad 2 battery. It's a different design, so they're not going to directly drop onto each other. But what I'm hoping is I can run just a battery lead over to it and see what happens. I don't think it's going to do anything to it particularly, but I want to see if it'll charge or if it'll do the same shit that it was doing earlier. So I'm probably gonna just, I'll never use this battery. We buy them new. I don't like used stuff like that. So I'm gonna solder to this battery and just solder my leads onto the negative and positive. It's not gonna have a battery SW line, so it's probably gonna get pissed off about that, but I'm hoping that I can at least get it to show me that it'll charge a battery properly and not keep stopping. I guess if I was hell-bent on it, I could figure out which one the SWI line is and run it over. It probably wouldn't match up though, since it's a iPad 2 for an iPad 3 or 4. Alright, so let me grab another piece of wire and run a ground jumper over. I'm sure there's somebody out there probably just saying, this guy's a fucking retard. But I don't have a battery here that I trust. This one is at least OEM and I can trust it. I have no idea where the one came that was being used on it. For all I know, it's just an absolute piece of shit, and that's the whole reason it's not working. So, at least with this battery, I'm more confident in its quality. Maybe it doesn't charge as well, but we'll find out. The wire's gonna fall here, but it's alright. I just need it to. Alright, so I need to probably tape my board down so it's not flopping around here. Get some of my generic Kapton tape that absolutely sucks. I went ahead and ordered the good shit. Hopefully it gets here soon. This stuff's not fucking Kapton tape, so don't order shit. That's all I'm saying. This stuff doesn't stand up to heat at all, and Kapton tape's supposed to be heat resistant. You hit this shit with heat, it melts. So again, with the ground, it doesn't matter. All the ground in the board's tied together, so I'm just going to solder directly to this shield right here. I'm going to try to angle it the opposite direction in case I want to hook up the LCD. Alright. So we got our power and our ground hooked up here. I'm going to hook my DC power supply back up and monitor the amp draw coming off of it. I'm running it through this board so I can watch the amperage and see if it's doing the same thing it was doing earlier. Or cause a fire, one or the other. If it goes up in flames, we'll chuck it outside. Alright, it's bouncing back and forth. I'm not sure what the battery voltage is. Let me see what the bat voltage is. This battery may be fucked. It's reading like, let's see when it's not trying to charge it, what it's reading. It's 0.4 volts. I don't think it's gonna charge that. Let's see if it can. I'd be surprised. It's trying. It's bouncing around like the Tristar's trying to force it to start up. Let's see. Oh, spiked a little higher that time. I saw a volt. Saw 1 volt that time, 1.1. So, and our amperage is slowly creeping up. It's up to 250 milliamp output to the board. Earlier it wouldn't get above 20 or 200 milliamps. Yeah, it's spiking higher and higher each time. It's up to 1.3 volts. Let's see what it does when I disconnect it now. See what our bat voltage is at. Alright, we'll let it sit on there for a second and see if it ends up doing anything. This is the most ghetto way to try to charge a battery. Most of the batteries back there are probably going to be bad because they've just been sitting on the shelf for a long time. These are all parts iPads that we pulled shit off of. Turn the heat off here. I'm hoping it's got enough. I know the battery itself is going to have bad cells in it, but just from being that dead, but I'm hoping that it can rejuvenate it enough to possibly get it booted up. Let me see. I don't think it's gonna make it. Well, let's try hooking it up to a iPhone battery. How about that? Maybe, just maybe, one of those will work. Dropping everything on the floor. We got plenty of test batteries, so I'm not super worried about it. We'll do a big boy iPhone 6 battery. on ZXW real quick. Figure out the orientation of the ground here. I believe ground's on the inside. Yeah, it is. Power's on the outside. So we'll hook up our power rail is closest to the battery. Ground is furthest from the battery. See if we can shove that down in there. I don't know if it'll go. Well, no sparks, so it's always a good start, right? It's acting pretty much the same as it was before. So yeah, it probably needs the SWI line to do anything. Well, no, there it goes. It jumped up to a half a volt, or a half an amp. Oh, not sure. Still acting on. Well, that was a failed attempt at trying to be ingenious. So we're pretty much relying on that the battery that's in this iPad is good. I don't really trust it, to say the least. Go ahead and pull this fucking goddamn tape. Shitty tape. See what our battery voltage on our actual board is. I think it was 3 point something volts, but it's 3 volts, 3.03. So let's try just hooking up our battery here. Plug in our charger and see what we get. No other peripherals hooked up. This looks like it's a, I don't know, I don't think it's a new battery, but could be. It's more like a housing that was just pulled. see it's pulling 1.5 amps right now, but it should drop off here in a second. Maybe not. Let's see if pressing the power button. Pressing the power button earlier was causing some fluctuation in it. Let's see if that's still there. Yeah, see, it's weird. As soon as I plugged in the power button, the amperage dropped. Let me unplug it and see if it comes back up. Yeah, with the cable up here, the cable that goes to the headphone jack and the camera and stuff, is, if I have it plugged in, let's see how it acts now. Just a second ago it was shutting the amperage to 0. It's at 1.5 amps right now. It's holding still. Still holding. I'm going to try putting a screw in and hold the battery down here. Let's see if we plug in a screen what it does. Yeah, so it's still holding 1.5 amps solid. So disconnect our power from it there. I'm going to hook up the LCD panel and see if it shows us the logo. And if it does, I'm going to let it charge and see if it'll boot up. And if it does boot up, then we know that we obviously have a short of some sort in the power flex that's causing the issue. Okay. LCD panel is hooked up. We'll plug in our cable. We'll pull on 1.5 amps. No, it did the same thing with the panel attached. As soon as the LCD turns on, the amperage draw drops to 0.07. The display is turned off and we're still holding around 0.07. See if it's still making the noise it was earlier. Yeah, it's still making the noise it was making earlier. It's almost like a vibration sound. What'd you miss? You ain't missed much. Me fumbling around in the dark looking like a retard. Let's see if the amperage draw just is not, it's not good at all, so. It's 3.179. Let's see if it goes up at all. I mean, I wouldn't suspect it would based off the amp draw. 3.178, so it's fallen one. 3.177 now, so it's still falling. Alex, you still in here? Would you suspect a battery problem here? Or a Tristar problem? I'm kind of leaning toward Tristar. I mean, it's kind of got some of the symptoms of Tristar with the no charge after LCD panel turns on. See if we can get Micah down here. Alright, working on stuff myself. Alex, do you think this is Tristar? So as soon as it shows anything on the screen, it stops pulling amperage. Beforehand, it's pulling 1.5 amps. I'm leaning towards Tristar, but at the same time, I could be wrong. It doesn't necessarily act. Hook battery up to the iPad, plug it in, pulls 1.5 amps. As soon as it shows the charging logo on the screen, amperage drops to 0.07. iPad 4. 3 or 4. I think it's a 4. It has Tristar chip on it. It's down here in the corner. It's a 1608. It's right there. 1608 A1. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. But before he uses 1608, yeah, he uses 1608. Have you been putting 1610s on it and getting boot loop? The fucking iPod 6, iPod Touch 6 and 5th gens both use a 1608 also. This is an underfilled fucker too. And Micah has my snips. Well, he doesn't have them now, but I'm gonna have to barbarian butcher this thing to get it apart. You all may want to close your eyes and look away here shortly. I'm gonna try to cut through the shielding with a knife and then peel it away. Look away. This is happening. Hey, I'm not pointing out your stupidity. I did the same fucking thing. I fixed like 3 or 4 iPhone 5s that had charging problems. I kept putting 1610s on them. And I was like, why the fuck are these charging but then boot looping? I was like, there's no way I'm fucking the CPU up. Turns out I'm just a dumbass. So I was fixing these iPhone 5s and didn't know it. I was just putting the wrong fucking chip on it and fucking myself. Alright, let's see if this will break off yet. I just need to get one side started and then I can break the other side off. I just fucking work hardening the shit out of it. That's close. Okay, cut a little more. Alright, we're through that one. Let's get rid of our excess pieces of metal there. Micah, you bitch. Micah's at home right now playing Nintendo Switch. I keep trying to get him to come down here and play it because he won't ever fucking play it here. He brings it down here and plays it, but he won't hook it up to the big screen. Quietly order 1608s. I always kept 1608s in stock because the iPod Touches. Come on, Mr. Underfill, come on. Don't be a bitch. Stop making me gouge the board. Alright, that should be good enough. We'll mount it up and take off Tristar and replace it, and then after we get done replacing it, we'll be saddened by the fact that it wasn't Tristar, and we'll cry ourselves to sleep, as we always do every night. Because sometimes you just need a good cry. Did I even put my fucking... No, I didn't. Good. Top of the IC. Yeah, I've done it that way too. The only problem with that, Alex, is I've got space here to get to it, so I think I can get in here. It just takes forever to get hot enough. In this situation, there's not really much that I have to worry about, because I think on the other side it's pretty much just open. Let me see if I've got a tip that's not molested that I can use. These things are so thin, I end up just raping them. Well, Alex, I already cut around the IC, so... Fuck. Fuck me, right? Right? Fuck me. Alright, we're gonna heat this up to the temperature of the sun. And then once it's at that point, we'll make it a little hotter. Get my angle right to my dangle here. Angle to the dangle. I like to start on the corners. They let you in real easy. Oh yeah. Melting solder. It's a good sign. Pull a little more flux down. Yay, Tristar's gone. Once it gets liquid, it comes out of there like a fucking bat on crack. Yeah, that's exactly what the iPod Touches did to me, Alex. Like, if they were boot looping and then I would restore them, they'd give me an error 4013. So one of them, I pulled the fucking NAND off and did all this fucking shit trying to figure out why it was fucked up. And I thought, like, well, I guess I got something too hot or something. I don't know. I thought maybe I got NAND too hot because it was right next to it, and fuck me, right? But I finally figured it out. We after the second one, I was like, wait a minute, something's not fucking right here. So I got to looking at it, and I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. It's a 1608. Grabbed a 1608 off of one of my little strips and popped her on there, and that bitch fired right up. Worked like a treat. Alright. Let's make sure I haven't destroyed any lives. Nah, we look good. I'd eat off that shit. Yeah. Like, how the fuck is this? If it was a customer, you'd be like, well, when I brought it in, it was working. Why did you fuck up my NAND? You just fucked my NAND up. I know you did it on purpose. I'm gonna make a mark right here so I remember where the corner was for the top of that chip. Working perfectly fine for you fucking screwed it up, man. It's all your fault. I'm gonna need you to buy me a new MacBook Pro for that iPad you fucked up. It's chip dip. What the fuck does that mean? What's chip dip? Alright, my plethora of 1608s, all 4 of them. Now all 3 of them. Alright, let me message Micah. Make him feel bad about himself, make him come down here. I don't know if it'll work, but we're going to attempt to. So far, our attempts have been futile, and he does not give a shit. Alright, so that's how she was placed. Put a little flux down there. Alright. Like different. Oh god. Chip dip. Nothing tastes like carcinogens like chip dip. Are you tired of living? Try chip dip by Alex. Don't move, thank you. Alright, you can now move. Oh, I saw something. Not ready yet. It's really close now. Alright, I think she's good. On the iPads, they eat so much fucking heat from your hot air gun, and I just like to make sure that they've gotten liquid enough on the bottom that that chip is fully taken. Looks good from there. We'll cool it off and then be disappointed. Bam, 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 bam. Bam, 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 bam. Alright. Let's get our disappointment on. Who's ready to cry? Put a little heat pad back on here because that chip doesn't like being warm, evidently. Let's put the cover back on that fucker. Alright, let's hook up our power. No woman, no cry. Alright, let's hook up our screen. Screenadine. Screen's hooked up. Plug in our shit. Get our charging cable. That is loose like sleeve of wizard. Pulling 1.5 amps and 0. Fuck off. So it's still doing the same thing with the new Tristar. Shows the charging logo, but amperage drops to nothing. Yeah. So chances are this is either still a battery problem or it's PMIC related. And fuck you, PMIC. Underfilled bitch on this. So PMIC is right here. And it is a motherfucker. Let's see if we're getting at least VCC main boost at first when it's giving our big amp draw. To see if PMIC is at least working for a split second. Didn't catch it in time. No, it's not even boosting that up. Guess it would help if I wouldn't try to short out the fucking power rail, right? How are you doing, Tar? .46, it ain't boosting. .46, yeah, something's not right there. I would expect it would be boosting it to 4.2. See what happens with the battery just disconnected and the charger hooked up. See if we're getting spikes up to 4.2. I think we were earlier. Yeah, fuck you. Thing turned off. Yeah, it's if the battery's unhooked, it spikes up to 4 volts, which shows me that PMIC is working sometimes. Evidently not all the time. Unless the battery's just pulling it down that hard. I don't think that's the case, but it's doing the exact same shit that that fucking iPad Air is. Like, it is almost identical what it's doing that the iPad Air was doing. How you doing? Learn to repair? So this one's doing identical shit that the iPad Air 2 is doing. We're getting an amp draw until screen turns on, then it stops boosting for some reason. It stops boosting VCC main up. Let me look on ZXW and see what there is. It's good to see some new viewers. It's pretty cool. iPad 4. Let's see if ZXW closes. Oh yeah. Always closes. I wish I had something exciting to show you all on stream today. I have a MacBook that I got water damaged and I got it working, but I just ultrasonically cleaned the board. Looks almost like a brand new board after you alter the ultrasonic. Alright. Battery SWI, where do you go? Okay, you got a PMIC. Let's see, is there anywhere on top that I can measure this, or is it all on the bottom? So dumb. They put the test point for the fucking SWI line on the bottom of the board. Fucking genius, boys. It's over here. So one of the, let me see. This doesn't even fucking match up. It's somewhat similar, but it's not the same. Oh, it's over here. It's one of these three. It is this one right here. Runs to that resistor. After that resistor, it runs out to this pad. After that pad, it runs over to this resistor, and then it's connected to the gate for battery. Guess we can meter. I don't know if it would do it. Let's jump the battery gate just to make sure that we're not having an issue there. Because why the fuck not, right? I would guess that this one over here is the USB gate. If I was a guessing man. And that it is. So this is USB, this is battery. I'm going to take battery gate off. Actually, I don't even have to take it off. I'm just going to jump our wire around. Overcomplicating shit here. So let's grab some wire. I'm going to run this wire across the gate twice because it's thin. I need it to be able to carry the amp load. Let's see here, which one's the gate pin? Alright, gate pin's on the very end there. So, we'll run this around. The gate pin is mostly there just for battery being hooked up backwards, which I guess theoretically is not really possible unless you take it off and do what I was doing earlier and dick around with it. Alright, it's soldered and we'll loop it back on itself. Alright, that's looped back on itself. Now we'll resolder it to this side. Alright. So in theory now the battery gate is bypassed, so it should allow it to charge the battery no matter yeah, a few people have found me through Lewis's stream. I appreciate people coming to watch. It's more entertaining, I think, when there's more people here to talk to. So let's break off our wire there. So now we should be able to meter this from the either side. So now it's constant continuity across it. So if PMIC is for some reason shutting the battery gate and not allowing it to charge, we'll now see it. We'll know it should charge regardless now. Regardless. Do this shit regardless, man. Alright, hook that up. Hook up our charger. Jessa flipped you off today? How'd you do that? Jessa's a nice young lady. She would never do anything like that. I don't know if I believe you, Tower Man. Alright, so same old shit, just a different day. But the battery charger gate jumped. It almost seems like it's worse now, like it's instantaneous that it won't even let it charge right away. Like there's an audible pitch, high pitch noise coming off the board, like I can hear it. It's gotta be coil winding. Motherfucker. This fucking thing's worn out. Whoever's been working on it. Yeah, there's like audible noise from one of the coils. Hold on 1 second. So you all can't probably hear this. I'll put it up by the speaker, maybe you can. Anyway, I'm not sure if it's a coil or what it is that's creating the noise. It's gotta be a coil that's making the noise, but I don't know where the fuck it's coming from. There's something on here that's not right. It's on the back side of the board. It's been making it since I started, so I don't think it's the winding I just put on there. Let's see if I can cut this support here the ghetto way. Alright, so spin that back and forth till it breaks off. I desoldered my wire just to make sure, but there's an audible high-pitched squeal coming from somewhere in here, and I'm trying to pinpoint it. That's probably a good idea to tell where it's coming from. I would assume that it's a coil whining because the coils are the only thing that I think could resonate a frequency. And I know that coil whine occurs in like graphics cards and stuff when they hit the correct resonance frequency, but there's no, as far as I know, there's no exposed coils here. They're all encapsulated. I mean, maybe they can still vibrate. The fuck? Yeah, that's true. I guess the MOSFETs could be doing it too, but I don't... Does anybody see any MOSFETs? What are these? Are these MOSFETs? They might be. They look like the iPhone 5 MOSFETs, so could very well be. Let's see. I'm looking at these small silver packages. Let's see what they are. Yeah, they are MOSFETs, so the silver pieces are MOSFETs. Let's see what controls them. Got a resistor. So that one's PMIC controlled. I would assume all of these are PMIC controlled. Yeah, they're both PMIC controlled. So these four here are all MOSFETs. They look like the same package size that they use on the iPhone 5 and 6 to do the USB input gating. Let me see where their source and their drain is. Alright, so the power that they're controlling is under PMIC. It's got some smoothing caps. It's really weird. These power lines go in and out of the so it's let's look up on the schematic and see what the fuck it does. iPad 4. There you are. Alright, so let's go in here. Close all these tabs out. Fuck out of my face. Let's pull chat up. Some hot snot. What, to stop the vibration? Alright, so let's switch over here to the schematic so you all can see what I'm looking at. Alright, so let's look here. These go to Q203, so let's look what Q203 is. Or 8203, excuse me. I was like, that's not right. I know where it's located, piece of shit. Alright. So it's over here. It's a CPU MOSFET. They're both CPU. So these two that are on the same line are CPU, and these two on the same line are CPU. I don't think it's a CPU issue though. It's definitely not, because the iPad booted earlier, and it also it only booted though with me hooking it directly to DC power supply. So maybe they're just humming for some random fucking reason. I don't know. I almost think that it is battery. I wish I had a good battery to see how it acted once it was booted. I may actually just go ahead and charge this battery up. I'm over here dicking around. I could have been charging this the whole fucking time. Where's my iPhone or iPad 4? That's Air. iPad 4. Come here, bitch. Alright. So I'm going to hook this up to my charger here. And we're going to get it up to voltage to where I can test this while it's on. Kind of tell what's going on with it. No, it's definitely not CPU, Lynn. Because it boots up, because when I hooked it up to the power supply earlier and forced it to run off of the DC power supply and hooked it up to the computer, it recognized the iPad and read the information off in iTunes. So it definitely turns on. We're just having charging problems. We'll give that a minute to charge. It's probably gonna be a very fucking boring stream for a lot of you. Sorry. This is the life I live. Do you have one of those power supply things that can feed correct voltage to the board? Yeah, Tarman, I've got one that it's a USB cable that hooks up directly to the iPad batteries. Like, I'll switch back over in the view so you can see it. So, like, it hooks directly up to the battery, and then it's got a USB cable, and I've got it limited to 4 volts off the DC power supply. It's charging at 3.6 volts at 700 milliamps. So I haven't seen one of the cables that has the iPad direct connections. I've got one that has all the iPhone connections, but I don't have one that has the iPad. If you all know about it, please link it. Because I sure as fuck would like one that I can hook directly up to iPads. Because these only hook to the battery. Like, it's got a screw hole. If I want to hook it to the iPad, it doesn't have a screw down, so I can't really attach it that way. I'm in the corner. Lynn, do you know one that you can hook directly to the one that you can hook directly up to the board itself, not the battery, because the one I have for the battery doesn't mean no good for testing, I guess. I just had to solder directly to the board to test stuff. See if it booted up. God, I'm fucking tired. Let's see. God knows how long this will take. Let's increase the voltage. Fuck it. 4.2 bitches. We'll do 1 amp. How about that? There we go. 1 amp charging. I'm in the corner. Right, 3.37879 80. So slowly charging. Saw it once on Ollie, we can't find it tomorrow. The ones that I've seen on AliExpress were just the charging cables. I didn't see any that allowed you to hook them directly to the board. Let me look and see. I don't know what they would be called. iPad test cables? Nope. iPad battery leads? Nope. iPad DCPS to battery connector. The fuck have I stumbled onto? No, never mind. Union Repair usually has some crazy shit. Let's see. iPad. Just click iPad. Fuck it. What y'all got? We got a lot of screens. We got batteries. Is there a section for testing equipment? Tools. Section cups. Measuring and testing. Oh, that's fucking cool. So they've got a battery tester that would read the chip directly off the battery and give you the cycle count and everything on here. $184. How about them apples? What is this one? Apple tester. Well, that one does the same thing. Why is it so fucking cheap? Oh, never mind. It only does iPhone 4. No? It does more than that. Why the fuck is this one so much cheaper? What's the difference here? Oh, this is a tester and charger. Oh, that's fucking cool. And it also does iPads. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I know you can get it from plugging it into the phone, but I'm talking about if you just have the battery without having the phone. Universal USB tester for smartphone. The 1 and 6 interface. See, there's the 1 and 6 cable for iPhones, but I don't see one for iPads. Oh shit. I'm gonna link you all to this tester thing that I found so you can see it. Pretty cool little tool. I may end up getting myself, because fuck hooking up a phone and waiting for it to charge up to find out any information on it. Alright, we're at 3.475. Still charging. It won't turn on until 3.7 volts, so we gotta get up at least that high. So I might end up getting that little tester, I don't know. It does all the way up to the iPhone 7, so I mean it's relevant at least. It looks like it's done through USB, so possibly option to upgrade later. Looks like it shows you cycle count, capacity, battery life, voltage, current, temperature, the chip type on the board, so you know if your batteries are the correct Panasonic or whatever chip. It even tells you the manufacturer of the battery. That's pretty cool. It looks like it gives you the option to charge. I'm gonna watch their sweet little video here, because all the Chinese instructional videos are very interesting. Tarman, I probably won't be on, so it was good seeing you, man. As soon as I get this charged up, I'm gonna fucking test it out, and then I'm gonna go get some dinner myself. This fucking video is the slowest loading video ever. There it goes. So they got their nifty little charger. What the fuck do you do with it? Oh yeah, it does have a USB input on the top of it. Evidently it has its own built-in power pack too. Well, that's fucking fancy. Wait a minute. Oh, okay. Pretty good little thing there. It does quick charging. Does battery activation. Tells you percentage. Pretty cool. Alright, let's see where we're at now. I figure if people will sit through Lewis' chair sitting there, they'll sit through watching me charge a battery. Alright, so we're up to 3.511. We're slowly creeping up there. Better go grab some dinner with the bros. Yeah, I've got a battery board like that I use already. Let's see if I can show it to you. So I've got a battery charger board. It just doesn't read out any information for them. I'm looking for, here's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for this shit right here. So these are the iPhone leads. These hook into the board itself, not to the battery. I want iPad ones like this so that I can test with them. I thought about just ganking some fucking connectors, but I don't know if these cables have, like, they have the SWI connector on them in the center, but I don't know if they actually transfer any data or not. Like, all they have is the two pads in the backside, so it just maybe dummy pads on the center, or maybe they have some type of resistance built into them to kind of trick the phone. That's what I'm looking for. Something like that. Just so I can test. Alright, let's see where our battery's at now. There's be some basketball games on there now, actually. We're at 3.527. Let's crank our amperage back up here. Come on up. There we go. Get her back to 1 amp. We want faster charging. Faster. $3.547. 548. We're almost there. I don't see anything else on here. There's some tester cables that the one I've seen, it's got like a little box that they come out of. What does this one support? Oh, yeah, 6 plus, so it's the same. See, this one has a battery SWI line. I don't know, I might have to get these. Let's see. Okay, yeah, these have a simulated battery data line. One drawback yet. Well, no, it has both. See, it has both ends. It's only 15 bucks. I might get that. I might get both of them. This one's pretty cool too. The one I have, I don't believe they do any type of data, so it probably throws a fucking hissy fit. But this one's supposed to simulate the battery data lines also. See where we're at. We'll watch our voltage. We don't want to overvolt this thing. It should have battery protection built in anyway, but. Alright, we're almost up to 3.6 volts. I just want to get to 3.7 so I can leave. My allergies are killing me today. Make my eyes water. Get a really cool. I think I'm gonna order. Fucking who knows how much it is, but I think I'm gonna order PC3000 flash readers to start with. I've had several flash SD cards come in. This one here doesn't read anything. I've already scraped it away to where you can see the trace of it. So I think I'm going to get into the SD data recovery. All these points have to be soldered to a tester board that can read the chip's layout properly. I was hoping that there was a way just to get it to read through a USB protocol, but looks like you have to have a board that knows the protocol or the controller layout of the SD card first. But we've done a few data recoveries on USB flash drives. Those are fairly straightforward. But I really want to get into the SD stuff, and then I really want to migrate over to actual hard drive data recovery too. It's something I've been throwing around for 6 months now. I just can't bring myself to spend $10,000. I was kind of jealous that Lewis and Jason got into it, because it was something that I had been really thinking about, and then all of a sudden on one of the streams they talked about PC3000. I was like, are you getting into data recovery? And they're like, yeah. Man, this thing is charging slow as shit. So 3.588. 8 died. No. We're getting there. Paul doesn't do that stuff. He does more simple stuff from what I understand. He does just the simple, like data recovery, like deleted partitions and stuff. Maybe some of the control board repairs too, which I can do some of those. But we've got a drive here that I may send to Lewis or send to HCD Recovery, the guy on YouTube. It's I'm pretty sure the heads are not reading on it, because when you turn it on, the drive spins up and you can hear the heads. They'll move over, and then you hear them like searching, and then they stop, and they move over again and search, and then they go back to stop point, and they do that about like 12 times. Yeah, TCRS, I think it should be fairly easy to make a flow bench. Hell, some of these guys that I see will do them even without a flow bench. I mean, I know dust is particular on them, but it seems like you could just blow the platters off once you get done, and then make sure that it's fairly clean. I mean, the way that they're designed to deal with dust anyway. You don't want to just pour fucking dust in it, but they've got filters inside of them, and when the disc spins up, the heads don't move over right away, so it kind of knocks anything off into the filter. Yeah, Lynn, it sounds like that the heads can't find where they're supposed to start. So I'm fairly confident it's a head issue. I don't think that it's a board issue. I think most of the board issues that I've seen, they usually cause either completely dead drive or no spin up. I've seen some guys that do the platter swaps in fucking, like one guy does it in this office. He's like, I don't use any type of flow bench. He was like, I just do it out in the open. He's like, we've never had really any problems. He's like, I just make sure that I clean them off with compressed air that doesn't have any type of liquid in it. He's like, usually once the drive spins up, there's no problems. It usually flings anything that's on the platter off of it before the heads ever move onto the platter. I mean, I'm sure there's always a chance there. So you don't want to fuck it up. Alright, let's see where the battery's at. The voltage is creeping up. We're at 3.615. 616 now. We're oh so close. With the flash drive stuff recovery and the SD cards, I feel like those are a much easier form of recovery, and I think that could help build some revenue. This isn't the first SD card we've seen like that. We actually have two right now that are doing the same thing. When you plug them in, they're not recognized at all, which makes me think that the controller is dead. I tested for shorts across the power and ground, and there's no short there, so I'm hoping I can recover them, make some money off of them. Probably charge like $100 for it, and then do any type of hard drive recovery starting about $300. There's definitely businesses around here that need it. I think it's another way to stay relevant, have another form of income. I try to do MacBooks as much as I can, but we've got a authorized store. They bring me everything that they can that's not under warranty. We have really good success with MacBooks too. I think I've only had maybe one or two that we haven't been able to get working again. I actually have I sold a 2015 Air the other day that I bought from a guy that had spilled liquid on it. It was fairly simple. And then we had a 2013 Retina 15-inch that was water damaged that we also fixed, and we've got for sale. I've got a 2011 down here that I got in that was water damaged. Ran it through the ultrasonic and cleaned up some bad corrosion spots, and it works fine. I've got a 2012 that is going to be shipped to me Monday. It's actually here, but they didn't deliver it today. Hopefully get it working. I may do a video on it. Just depends on how bad it is. We'll see. Alright, let's see where our battery's at now. Alright, we're almost there. We're a like 5,000 volt or millivolts off or something like that. What's everybody up to? I assume everybody else is either working or sitting around watching me not work. Doesn't make any sense. I'm reading through stuff here. Sitting around not working. What situations call for acetone versus IPA versus? I mean, it's personal preference, Zach. Alcohol is less. It's not as aggressive, and it lasts a little longer on the board. Acetone evaporates fairly quickly, but acetone will eat through flux pretty quickly. The only thing is, acetone, if you leave it on solder for a while, it'll start to gray it. It'll form like an oxidation layer on it. In the park, sitting around. Yeah, I wish I was sitting in the park. I think it's still raining here. Oh no, it stopped. It was raining earlier. Actually had a warm day. It's probably cool outside now. Alright, we're almost there. Hopefully it'll boot up. It was pretty nice out today. It's been fairly cold. No, Zach, I dicked with it some more and it's still doing the same thing. I talked to Jessa and she and I probably are on the same line. She thinks it's probably something to do with the CPU talking to the EEPROM or EEPROM to NAND causing the problem maybe. There's a video of a guy that did this repair where he was having the same problems and he drilled into the CPU and ran a jumper wire from the EEPROM over to the CPU and fixed it. But I don't know if that's something I want to do or not. Having a beer. Martin, if I like beer, I'd be right in there, but I'm more of a, I don't know, I guess I drink liquor more than I do beer. I've got another iPhone 6s here that's Air 9 also. TCRS, where do you live? Tell us so we can come find you. Alright, we're almost 3.7, so then we can test. The iPhone 6s that's here is Air 9 also. I tried new Tristar at the beginning of the stream. Same results. Yeah, both of them were no data to start with. They were just seeing if we could get them functioning again. California. I'm in Kentucky. Our weather is 40 degrees one day, 70 the next. So it was warm today. It was probably in the 60s, but after the rain, it's probably either really fucking hot and humid outside or it's cold as shit. That's the two options we get. There's no in between on it. Kentucky weather literally can change. It was a couple weeks ago, we had 70-degree weather, and then literally 2 days later they were calling for snow, and it was like 20 degrees. 16 here. 16 degrees Celsius. It's like a heat wave. You can tell when I get bored, I start acting stupid. We fixed the 6S earlier today that was burnout backlight. I also had an iPad Pro that had a burnt Touch ID 16.7 volt one or 16.5 or whatever it is. Unfortunately, the home button one, after we replaced the filter, still wasn't seeing the fingerprint. God damn, this thing just slows down when it gets close to the number that I want. It's still pulling almost an amp, but it's just like creeping up now. Creeping up. Paul wrote me last night, fucking like probably 2 o'clock in the morning. I forgive him though because he's on a different time zone. Paul was complaining about the fact that he doesn't have the equipment to fix obvious issues that he knows what the problem is. I told him to get one, but evidently shipping and everything over there is a lot more expensive. I mean, it's understandable for shipping, but it sucks. I guess being in the US, you kind of get used to shipping being a little different. I need to charge my phone. It's almost dead. Charger's in the car though. Do. Wish I could play music, but I'm pretty sure I'd get a YouTube strike. Alright, we're almost there. We got 0.015. Hopefully it'll turn on. Sometimes they're fucking fussy. Do. Come on, iPad. You're almost there. 0.01 volts left. What is that? 100th of a volt? Yeah, I'd say it is. It's crazy though, you can get stuff shipped from China for next to nothing. Yeah, it's a pretty heavy package. I remember when I got mine in, the guy that delivered it, he was like, "This is fucking heavy. What the hell are you shipping?" I was like, I told him I just shipped lead weights. Speaking of shipping lead weights, if you ever get those You ever get those prepaid mail packages that are just junk mail? If you really want to be a dick, go out and buy some lead fishing weights and fill the envelope up with them and seal it up and ship it back. Because they get to pay the shipping for that. I mean, it's just a couple bucks or something, but still, I bet they'll stop sending you shit if you do that a few times. Backlight coil from iPhone 6. Martin, the best way to do it is I've got a video on my list if you want to look through for backlight repair. The best thing to do is take your tweezers or your a large, like on mine, my large chisel tip is what I use on my iron, and just take it and press it through the coil and destroy the coil and just pick it off in pieces. That's the easiest way to do it, honestly. No problem, Martin. It's the best way to do it. Once you dig down through it and you pull out all the coil and you get rid of most of the like the ferrite, like powdery mixture, you can get down to the top of the pads where the coil usually mounts, and then you can just add some leaded flux and just pull them right off. And then after that, just tweezers, you can knock the rest of it off. And then putting one back on with the leaded solder is a cakewalk. I mean, it's easy at that point. Yeah, the coil will fall apart when you get enough heat on it like that with the iron. It'll fall apart and just, you can press right through it. Alright, we should be enough here on the voltage to test this, and then sure, everyone's been waiting in that utter suspense. Yay, 3.7 volts. Let's see what happens when we disconnect the power supply. 3.7 volts, cool. We should be good to go now. We'll put our board back on, hook up our LCD, and see what magic happens. Hopefully all the magic happens. iTunes has an update. Fuck off, iTunes. Go away. I feel like every time they release an update, they're trying to patch something to prevent you from using it. Alright, let's see what happens. LCD panel, come hither. Go ahead and hook you up. Fuck's my charger at? Whoops. Alright. Hook this up over here. Hook up our charging cable. Now we'll set it in here and see what magic happens. Alright, so battery's connected. Hook up our charge port here. Hopefully it won't fight me too much. Of course it's fighting me the whole way. Why wouldn't it? Sure, battery centered. Hooking it up. Golly. Alright, so we're pulling a half an amp. Okay, now it's charging, so I don't fucking know what we did. I guess evidently the battery was too dead to charge itself. So it's pulling 1.19 amps. That fucking coil was screaming when the fucking screen was on. Or the MOSFET, excuse me. So we may do what was suggested earlier and put some old hot snot on top of it to stop it from vibrating. But it is charging the battery now. I'm not sure what exactly was done there. The only thing I can think is the battery voltage was just too low, but I've usually seen them bring battery voltage back up. Still pulling a solid 1.2 amps. Let's see if I can sneak the power cable in under here. Alright, I disconnected the fucking battery in the process. I've probably fucked myself. Oh, let's charge again. This is very hard to do. I need to just put a fucking screw in the battery. I'm over here trying to do this with one hand. Alright, what'd I do with my fucking screwdriver? There it is. Alright, so screwdriver's in. Let me unhook the charger and see what it does. Almost feel like I need to pull the battery again and reset it because it's not showing the charging logo now. Come on, you bitch. Oh my god, fucking go on. This charging port is fucking annoying. Thank you. Alright, so wow, I guess it would help if I plug the LCD in, right? I'm not the smartest at times. Oh, fucking yay. Now the LCD connectors come loose. Like they all fucking do. And it's broken its end off nice. Even better. These connectors are absolute shit, by the way. Like, biggest fucking joke of a connector. I have to press the pins back in from the back side. And then I'm gonna have to force it forward as I turn this. I'm not sure how those broke off since it was just sitting in an upright position, but okay. So you can push it back on there. Now let's get our connector in here. No, it didn't stay in. I'm not even sure how they get those assembled from the factory without just destroying them. Come on, get in there. Get it halfway. There we go. Alright, so that's in. Still no display. Let's reset the CPU or the battery real quick. Okay. We'll set it back on there. Alright, don't grab my nuts. Alright, showing charging logo again. It's staying up on amperage, so I guess we fixed it. Before, when it did this, it would fall off, so I'm gonna let it charge. Probably gonna put a piece of Kapton tape over this fucking connector because it's so fucking loose. Evidently from previously being unhooked several times or something, or it's used, one or the other. But I'm gonna get me a piece of this generic, not actual Kapton tape that sucks and you should not buy. And I only use it to tape things down now because it's that fucking terrible. Alright, so that's taped down. I'm gonna let that charge. It's charging, so what to fucking do? Fuck everything else. As long as it stays charging, I'm completely content with that. And I appreciate you all watching, as always. And hopefully I will have something more entertaining next time for you. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I will have some more stuff on Monday. You all have a good weekend and go outside for a little while if it's nice. If not, stay inside, do something cool. See you guys.